Good morning! We are coming to you from Martha's Task, where Mary Burns has a new sewing project for us. What are we learning today?
These are called four corner bags. And I first saw one of these on a knitting site, and they used it for a knitting project bag. And since I knit, I wanted one for myself. So I found instructions to do it. And now I have a nice knitting bag. And you'll notice my fabric is a real fun, a bunch of chickens knitting, so that's real fun. So I have this nice knitting bag. And then one of the nice things about it is I can sit it down and I can pick up my knitting and I can leave my yarn in the bag or whatever. And we also did these a while back, so I have a little bag that I made to match, the little snap pouch that I can put some of my knitting accessories in. This is another one that was made by one of the ladies down here. And I brought this out to show you because I love how she embellished it and put the little conchos on all the corners to make it even prettier and added the ribbon. So you can have fun decorating it as well. And this one, she actually made out of a bandana. And I was going through my bandana fabrics and found this. So I'm getting ready to make one out of this bandana fabric. So to start with, what you start with is a square of fabric. And you can make it whatever size you want. I've got 4 different bags started right now, and every single one is a different size. So you can make them anywhere from, the ones I've seen, they've made them from 24-inch square on down. I think the smallest one I made was using up a remnant of fabric, and it ended up being a 17-inch square.
Okay.
I wouldn't go much below 15-inch because then you're getting too small. But you can make it whatever size. You just need a square of fabric. And so the first thing you'll do is I took the square and I finished all the edges on the square. Now my sewing machine has a nice overlock stitch. So I started using that to finish up all four sides of my square. You can also use a serger if you have a serger. If you don't, or you can just zigzag along your edges. But that's the first step, is to do all 4 edges. The cool thing about doing the bandana is the edges are already finished. So I skip a step. It makes it a lot quicker to do it.
Excellent.
So once you finish all 4 edges, then you're going to take your square and you're going to fold it in half. So I just folded it in half with my right sides together. And then I'm going to fold it again. And this is going to tell me how far I want to stitch it. And I'm going to take a pin to mark it.
And no matter what size of square you're using, you're going to follow these same steps.
Yeah, and basically this way I don't have to calculate the halfway point on my side. I just fold it again and then I've got it marked. And what I'll end up doing is I will sew up to these where I have it marked. So for the demonstration, I'm just going to pin it real quick. And you're going to do it, fold it one way, do the 4. And the other thing I like to do is I go ahead and take it back like this and double check just to be sure that I've got it even. It won't really show, but I did one where I started to get it uneven and realized that doesn't look right. So now I just take an extra second to double check to be sure it's even. So you'll sew up to your halfway mark on this, and then you're going to take it and you're going to fold it the other way. Now this one gets a little bit more awkward because you've already sewn it the one way. And then you're going to fold it again, mark your center point, and do the other side, fold it in half, and then fold it in 4s and mark your center point.
So there's a lot of pinning that happens before you get going too far on this.
Just a little bit of pinning, not, but yeah, some pinning just to mark it. Didn't do very good there. Let me repin. And again, I'm going to take them and line them up, make sure they're the same length, and then I will sew on the other four corners. So when it's done, you lay it out and you have a bag like that. Your bag looks like this. So this is unsewn, and then when it gets sewn, it looks like this. And this again, this is in my knitting chicken fabric. So this is a larger project bag for me. So you can see I've sewn halfway up each side. You start from the folded edge and halfway up. And I've done it on all four sides. So the next step is to, I'm going to take above where my stitching ends, and I'm going to fold it under, and I'm going to do it around all four sides, so you'll do it around all four corners. And you just keep going, and you'll do all four sides. And so when it's done, it now looks like this. So you've got it folded under and stitched down on all four sides. So now this one, I'm ready to add my straps. So going back to the first one I did, you'll see I made them nice and pointed. Okay, and I skipped that step at the start. For your straps, you're going to go and you'll have a long piece of fabric. For the larger bags, I've been doing 18 inches. This one is a little bit shorter. I think this one's even longer than 18. Oh, this one I did 25 inches, so it'll end up being a 24-inch strap. So you can vary the strap however long you want it. So this piece of fabric was for a larger bag, so I made it longer, where this is going to be a smaller bag, so I made it a little bit shorter. I wouldn't go below 16 inches for your strap.
Okay.
Because then it'd just be too small. So what you do, and this is how we do all our straps here, we'll take it, you lay it, and you fold it in half with your wrong sides together. So I started out with this, it was folded in half like this, and I ironed it. Then I took it, opened it out, and I folded one side to where my center crease was and ironed it. Folded the other side to my center crease and ironed it. Then I folded it over in half and ironed it. And for this particular strap, I went and I folded under here and left it like that, so I have a nice finished edge. Now, if you wanted to do a pointed edge, what I would do is I took it and I opened it up like this, and I marked my halfway point, and I sewed down and actually sewed it and then trimmed my corners and then turned it right. And then when you turn it right side out, you have a nice little point. So you can make it pointed if you want, but I'm doing them different ways. So this one I just did flat. And so now, you do is once you finish your edges, then you sew down each of the long seams. And so now I'm going to add it to my bag. So to do that, I'm just going to take it and I put it on one corner, and then I take the other end to the corner beside it, and I'll pin it and sew it on. And then I'll do the same with the second one. And you can sew it on, you could just sew a couple of lines across to put it in. On this one, I actually did a little box shape so that it picked up my point. So I went in and sewed it like that and picked up my point. So I made a little box shape on it. Or you could just, sew a couple lines across or whatever. And you'll take your other strap and do that to the other corner. And then you sew your straps down, and that's the four corners of a bag. They're easy and very flexible. You could use it for a lot of different things. For projects, I could see if you wanted to take your lunch, you could throw your lunch in a smaller one. You could do a smaller one for like when you go grocery shopping and you buy small stuff that you want to keep separate from your groceries. If you buy like toiletries or whatever, you could use one of those grocery shopping. And one other suggestion we had was do it in like a kid's car fabric for your grandson, so he can put all his cars in it and have a little bag to carry his cars in.
Such a fun idea.
So lots of fun ideas, lots of things you could do with them, and they're easy to make.
Okay, thank you.